Okay, let me see if I shift it back what happens. So no.
My back?
Yes. Let's see if it's still there.
I think it's time to open.
Yes.
Hold on
Door.
a sec, let me call, just a minute, let me call, two people missing.
So can we allow people to enter now?
Oh, Sona, could you make me a co-host, please?
Oh, take it back to co-host now?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
sure. Oopsie, chat. Open up back. Participants. Jamie Lee, choices. There you go, you're co-host now. I think we can start letting in. Oh,
Jamie Lee, are you hearing me?
Yes, but it's echoing again, I'm not sure.
Can you be prepared to speak to Dr. Hickling at the numbers I gave you?
Yeah, that's what I was about to do, because I was,
A certain time you don't see her enter because she might be having technical difficulties getting the link, finding her way, that kind of thing. So just make sure you have that under control. She actually starts at 9:30, so she has a few more minutes to sort out whatever technicals, okay?
I'll call them now and find out so before.
Angela, can you please return the host privilege to
Oh,
me? I think
Hickling is here.
It says to me that you are host, Sona.
Hickling is here.
okay. Thank you. It's
seeing-
now 7 minutes before.
Well,
Hickling is here, just to let you know.
Good morning and welcome. Dr. Hickling.
She's right here. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Welcome once again. We have 1 more minute. It's now. Anyone can tell me the time?
It's 8:54.
Okay, 1 more minute to opening. Hillary, if you want to
Yes.
mute video until you're ready, you
Okay,
can.
can mute.
Still 8:54 by my clock. Still 8:54. 8:55. Do we go?
Again, everyone, not hearing my fan, are you? Okay, good.
Not at all, but it's 8:55
Alrighty.
or not. We need to let them enter. And Jamie Lee, can you start the recording, please? Miss Wisdom.
Remember, you asked her to do the,
Sona, can you start? Very good, thank you.
I thought we were starting the recording at 9. No?
I have a feeling we won't remember. That's why it's good to do it now.
Bring it all the way up to the top, and you have to kick it all the way through the bottom. Need any guesses?
What time is it? It seems like it's 9 o'clock. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning. I know that I'm hearing it silently from different persons saying it behind your microphones. That's all good. Welcome to our students' mental health and social media discussion today, brought to you by Choices, Office of the Children's Advocate, Barita Foundation, Safe Spot, the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, and also from our dear team members from the Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors in Education. We are happy to have you all online with us this morning. And for those of you who have logged on early and right on time, all the better. This morning, we hope to continue this discussion about what is it that we can do to help improve our students and their impact on social media or children. What is it? How can we make this better? The discussion is going to be fruitful, and we look forward to your participation. As some persons are gradually coming in, we welcome you as you get in and settle down and remember all those little niceties that comes with being on the Zoom platform. Who am I speaking to you? I'm Sona Mirage. I'll be your program host. I'll be taking you through the program that we have for you. Very interesting as you go along and we look at the different aspects of mental health and students. This morning, I'm just going to remind you very briefly before we get into the program. Very tight one, so we're going to get started in a moment. The whole Zoom protocol. Remember that if you have something in your background that might be a little noisy, you may need to just plug that down for me. A little tip, if you have more than one programs open, then chances are your bandwidth may slow down, so you may want to stop, close those extra programs, close that browser, close that other Word document you are working on, and just leave your Zoom up and running so that you will have minimum issues in actually connecting or disconnecting as we go along. And we hope that Murphy's Law doesn't come into place as I speak that as well. It's a bright and early Tuesday morning, and we're glad that you're out and about. And this is the momentum that we want to keep flowing right throughout the day. Looking on, I've seen so far that we have at least 58 people online, including our presenters and facilitators, and it's a special welcome. And persons are coming in by the minute, coming in right after each other right there. And we look forward to having even more because we have had a number of registrants online. Who has brought this all on? Of course, it is our dynamic general manager for Choices Education and Career Service Advice Limited that has brought this on. And we could not start this event without hearing from the general manager of Choices to give her input on students' mental health. Very dear to all of us, whether or not we are in the classroom or we're out there dealing with our own children in different aspects, or we're interacting with students and the whole issue of, is this a healthy environment for them to be constantly exposed to? We're going to even delve into that some more. So before we do that, I want to stress and point out that should there be any technical issues, should there be any technicality at all, I'm going to ask you to make direct contact with Jamie Lee Wisdom, and you'll see her under Choices, Jamie Lee Wisdom, in your participants group. So you can send a message to her directly if you're having any challenges. It's now 9:04. And within another minute, as the numbers grow constantly, we see Fernport High coming on. We see representatives from the various schools. Now, if your school is being represented or your individual, you may go ahead and rename. If not, that's fine. You can stay as you are. I'm seeing the chat. Pleasant morning out to you. Good morning, everyone. Feeling the morning. Hope it's nice and bright wherever you are coming in from. The agenda is in the chat. You may have a look at it. And for those persons, when it's your time to speak, we will allow you to unmute. You'll send that request for us, and then we'll do that. Thank you so very much for joining. Good morning again. At this time, I'm going to now invite. Just a moment before I click on that whole invite. I'm going to ask that at this time, we welcome on the platform our General Manager for Choices Career and Education Advice Limited, Mrs. Angela De Freitas, as she pauses to let me know that no sooner we should start with prayer before we go any further. I'm jumping the gun, of course. Let's pause and rewind. Done. Mr. Leighton Campbell, please welcome on the platform as you give us greetings and a prayer from the Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors.
Thank you very much, Ms. Maraj. We will begin with prayer, but let me say good morning to everyone who is here already, and then even saying good morning to those who are joining us and will be joining us as we proceed this morning. Let us look to the Lord in prayer. Eternal God and Father, we are grateful to you this morning, another beautiful day that you have given to us. And we thank you, Lord, for the gift of life. We thank you, Lord, for the promise of your word that you have given to us, God, a mind of power and love, Lord, and one that is sober. We thank you for this opportunity that we have come together this morning, Lord, as presenters, teachers, counselors, parents, students may even be joining us. We thank you that we can come in this space, Lord, to discuss this important matter at this time in our society and in our lives and in history. We want to commend today's activity into your hand, Lord, and we pray that everyone who participates, everyone who attends this meeting this morning, oh God, when we would have left from this meeting, would say, yes, it was good to be here because we have benefited, we have learned so much, and there's so much that we can now apply and make life even better for ourselves, for our students and children. We thank you, Lord, for the organizers and the sponsors, the supporters of this event this morning. And we thank you, Lord, that you are going to grace us with the presence, Lord, even in every single presentations. And we thank you, Lord, that today will be a good day. No connectivity issue, Lord. No power outage, Lord. We are thanking you for a great day as we once again commit everything into your hand and give you all the glory and the honor and praise in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen and amen. So,
Amen. Thank you
amen.
for that, Mr. Campbell. I love the additional request for no connectivity issues because we surely can face that at different times with Murphy's Law. Thank you for your blessing. Really, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And you're also bringing us greetings from the Guidance Counselors Association.
Yes, I am. So I'll
All
go right
righty then.
ahead.
Go right ahead.
Thank you very much again for the opportunity. I really deem this as a great pleasure to be meeting with all stakeholders this morning. And, you know, the association, Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors, we are in the business almost every day for almost every month of the year, engaging our students, if not directly, indirectly, and trying to make their lives better by the contributions we bring in and outside of the classroom. And so when we have heard of this initiative, it was almost like a no-brainer if we should be a part of it, because we believe it is what we expect to do. Beyond what we expected to do, this is what is most needed, especially at the time that we are moving away from face-to-face to a great extent with many things. And we're online, and our students are being socialized primarily online for several things. And so we believe that this is quite in order, quite timely. School is out, students are on holidays, some members of staff are home, a few maybe at school, but we think that the timing is right, even as our students move into the summer break, and it can become really overwhelming. And so Jax's motto says that we care, we share, and we make others aware. And that is why we're here today, to participate in this great session. And we look forward for the outcome and the benefits and testimonials. I do hope that we'll see some testimonials month or two or even 6 months from now coming out of this session. Thank you once again for having us. And we are looking forward for a great day. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you very much. We care, we share, and the testimonials, the long-term effect of actually just being able to see the results of this, to see how much we have used the information to make changes, to improve, and that we are in sync with that. And actually, thank you for speaking on behalf of the association, as we know your job is challenging, and we all want to see improvements in the long term. So thank you again, Mr. Campbell. At this time, we're now going to invite our general manager for Choices, Mrs. Angela De Freitas, to come forward and bring her introductory remarks.
Thank you very much, Miss Sona Mirage.
Just a moment. Go right ahead.
A great deal of energy to anything she does. I want to add my welcome. I want to bring blessings and positive Jamaican and Caribbean vibes on behalf of Choices Career and Education Advice. As you heard, I am General Manager of Choices, and we have spent time, and when I say we, it's been a team effort. I've come together with Dr. Trudy Thomas, I've come together with Dr. Hilary Hickling, I've come together with my staff to produce for you what will be a beneficial day. And I thought it's so powerful and really, in some ways, amusing that as we sit here at this moment discussing this important subject, our heads of government are in our country in Montego Bay on the 49th CARICOM Heads of Government meeting. So it's all very appropriate and it all fits together so well. So I say hello to those from near and far across all age groups, our counselors, teachers, parents, persons from many different organizations who have chosen to join us. We understand the importance, and it seems that you do too. I really could not be more grateful for the wonderful turnout this morning, because we are at high numbers already and people are still entering. We want everyone to get this message. You have taken time to join us, our sponsors, who you will hear more about, Barita Foundation, the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, our partners, JAGSI, Guidance Counselors, the Office of the Children's Advocate with their Safe Spot, and the Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica. In this conversation, the fact that you have joined us is testament to the fact that you care. You recognize that there is a problem, and moreover, you are prepared to be a part of this solution. I refer especially to our youth amongst us, whose voices we must never ignore. They are the future. Those who are in the youth group of the Children's Advisory Panel of the OCA and their Safe Spot initiative, those being trained as peer counselors, prefects at Ferncourt High School in St. Anne, even younger ones, for example, at Chapelton Primary in Clarendon, and many others who have been gathered in groups for a broadcast. So don't just look at the numbers that you're seeing. There are many more groups across this island and further afield who are also joining us. We join each other as kindred groups and individuals. And even though we may vary in age, background, expertise, and location, we hope in the end to speak with one clear voice, that our children need to be protected, need to be guided as they tread through this battle for the mind called social media. And it is a battle for the mind. If we don't train their minds in the way we know they should be trained, they will be caught by other things, in other traps, in other nets, and we will see a different generation to what we know life should be. We know that each new generation has its own challenges and its own distinct youth culture. I'm sure that some of you remember what your parents said about you. In fact, in my case, it was about the miniskirt. It was also about loud pop music and what they called the discotheque. Anybody remember this? The discotheque?
Discotheque.
And discotheque, exactly. Now probably the dance hall, okay? When they were listening to jazz and blues, rock around the clock, chubby checker on the record player, we were already locked away with the transistor, teen magazines. I know most of you recall these things. Well, those things were my means of connecting with my world. So what else is new? Well, there's lots that's changing. We're witnessing a generation gap, which is more pronounced than ever, and even more distinct changes to accepted behavioral and attitudinal norms, rising mental health concerns, drug trends, and the rapid influence of social media. So that's what's changed. The next generations, the overlapping Gen Z, born after 1997, and Gen Alpha, born after 2013, are now navigating their way through life paths while experiencing weaker standards of social cohesion. I think that at least we as adults now, older ones or young adults, still had that sense of the things that made society what it is, that held society together. I think our young generations are now losing some of that. A high percentage of our youth are glued to devices and exposed to social media without the protective norms that once underpinned young people's development. These factors make it all the more important to explore our subject. What is the connection between students' mental health struggles like anxiety, identity concerns, behavioral issues, and social media's influence, as increasingly our youth are presenting with these issues? Platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and others use the opportunity of storytelling. They love it. Identity expression. They want to show who they are. And the community which they see amongst other young people. With that sense of community, however, comes comparison, vulnerability, insecurity, and even at times exploitation. We have a profound opportunity and responsibility to guide students through these digital landscape. landscapes. I thank you for wanting to be a part of a solution and know that this morning will help us all to a clearer understanding. We are going to dive in, and I'm going to hand over for a few. We're going to dive in. I'm going to share my screen just so that you have a little understanding of what is here for you. We have an agenda, which of course going come up on your screen now. So we've got keynote speaker, Dr. Hilary Hickling, 3 simultaneous breakout sessions, and 1 very special important session about deep fakes. Then there'll be sharing opportunities from the breakout sessions, final reflections. I hope that you all will get the opportunity of sharing in our chat, also the breakout sessions, what's on your mind, what your thoughts are, what you think can be done. Now, all of this is not possible without our sponsors. As I said, Rita Foundation, the Betting Game and Lotteries Commission, and our partners, the Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors in Education, the Office of the Children's Advocate and their Safe Spot Initiative, and the Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica. Now, your presenters for the day, we have amongst us your keynote speaker, Dr. Hilary Robertson Hickling. You will hear a lot more about her before her presentation. And our presenters and facilitators, Dr. Trudy Thomas Smith, Mr. Leighton Campbell, Mrs. Roxanne Anderson Linton, and Mrs. Anna Marie Dawkins Johnson. All the information you need is going to be in the chat. So let's hand you over to Dr. Trudy Thomas Smith for a bit more information about what happens here today. Thank you.
Hey everyone, a pleasant good morning to you wherever you are. I am with you from upstate New York. So when we say, where do you live? I say New York. No, I don't live in New York City. So it's a lot quieter here. Welcome. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so glad to meet you all. I hope you're hearing me okay. And one thing I would say about reflecting on what Mrs. DeFreitas mentioned about remembering that the voice of the youth has to be not only heard, but listened to. So I hope as you come here today with all your different backgrounds and expertise, you can bring that voice to us. This generation, we tend to call them digital natives. I know for me, myself, if I have trouble with my cell phone or with logging into something, I'm fortunate enough to work among young people. I'm always able to get help. So some of the things that they tend to enjoy, like viral videos and the like, are not things that I am as familiar with. Hopefully, what we'll get from today is at least a few tangible, practical ideas for implementation, for sharing with the folks that you might be in your charge, whether you're a teacher or a guidance counselor or a parent. And so we want and hope that you will get answers to some questions, like helping folks recognize when social media is harmful versus when it is helpful is a good one. Learning to set boundaries is one of the other topics that, while maintaining trust is one of the topics of the breakout sessions. And one which is particularly topical to my mind is supporting those affected by online stress. There is a lot to navigating just regular social media, forget about navigating life generally. And so there is a lot of stress associated with that. And I am glad that more and more we're talking about mental health and making sure that everyone feels safe to express themselves and are not subject to adverse events. And then I look to, I would say, the future, the younger generation, student leaders and the like, to bring that voice to help us understand better. And again, hopefully you'll take a few pointers from here that you can implement in your respective places of work or home. Thanks. I'll see some of you later.
Thank you. Back to you, Mrs. DeFreitas.
That's right. I am going to share once again because I would just like to show you a very brief video in order to have us all on the same page, i.e., we know where social media is coming from and what exact names that we hear are social media. So this very brief video is going to help us to understand a short history of social media.
Mrs. DeFreitas, are you about to play?
I have clicked.
Okay. And here comes the countdown.
With newer platforms and innovations continually reshaping
We're not seeing it as yet.
the world. 1971, the first email is sent, marking the beginning of communication. 1978, the
Are you
bulletin board
Mrs.
system
DeFreitas, we're gonna
users to
ask for a pause because maybe we're gonna have Jamie Lee show the video because it's not coming up on the
Very
screen
good.
right now.
Tom becomes one that
It's not showing up.
allowing users to create with friends.
I don't know if my system is very slow, but
So
certainly
let's see if Jamie Lee, can you show the video?
2003, LinkedIn debuts, focusing
We're
on
hearing it for sure, and I'm sure we want to hear what's on. Here we go.
Media.
2004.
The story of social media is still being written, with newer platforms and
Okay.
innovations continually reshaping how we connect, share, and experience the world. 1971, the first email is sent, marking the beginning of digital communication. 1978, the bulletin board system, BBS, allows users to interact and share messages in a more organized way. 1997, 6degrees.com becomes one of the first recognizable social media platforms, allowing users to create profiles and connect with friends. 2002, Friendster is launched, introducing the concept of connecting with friends online and sharing updates. 2003, LinkedIn debuts, focusing on professional networking and connecting individuals in the business world. 2004. Mark Zuckerberg launches Facebook initially for Harvard students, which later expands to other universities and eventually the general public. 2005. YouTube is founded, allowing users to share and watch videos with a social element. 2006. Twitter is launched, introducing microblogging and short status updates to the social media landscape. 2007. Tumblr comes into existence, combining blogging with social networking in a more visual format. 2010. Instagram is launched, focusing on photo sharing and visual content. 2011. Snapchat introduces disappearing photos and messages, popularizing the concept of temporary content. 2012. Pinterest gains popularity, emphasizing visual discovery and sharing of images and ideas. 2016. TikTok's predecessor, Musical.ly, is launched, allowing users to create and share short living videos. 2019. TikTok officially launches after merging with Musical.ly, quickly becoming a viral platform for short-form video content. These are just some key milestones in the history of social media, which has evolved significantly over the years, shaping how we communicate, connect, and share information in the digital age.
There we go. I hand back to Miss Mirage for us to really now dive into the program.
Thank you so very much. I found that very, very interesting, dating us back to a period of some names I don't recall at all. And maybe there are persons here who equally don't recall any of that. All the other names that are being used are what, Instagram and let me not say, because we're going to be asking questions on that in the long run. We have some prizes. We have stuff like Mystic Mountain tickets, Dolphin Cove, Amazon gift cards, phone credit. Hey, let's listen in so that as we go along the way, you will get that opportunity because you remembered or you paid attention and you'll just be in for one of these prizes. Now it's that time where we need to actually get our guest speaker or keynote speaker is going to be with us very shortly. But before she enters the platform or the spotlight, let me give you a little background about Dr. Hillary Robertson Hicklin. She's a former senior lecturer and former head of the Behavioral Sciences and General Management Unit in the Faculty of Social Sciences at the University of the West Indies in Mona. Dr. Hicklin holds a PhD from the University of Birmingham, a Master of Science in Applied Behavioral Science from Johns Hopkins University, and a Bachelor of Arts honors from the University of the West Indies in Mona. She has published extensively on resilience, migration, and Caribbean identity, and her work includes books, scholarly articles, and technical reports, also contributing to international conferences and workshops and programs on mental health, organizational behavior, and Caribbean development. Dr. Robertson Hicklin has worked internationally in New Zealand, England, and Jamaica as a psychologist, teacher, consultant, and public intellectual with a deep commitment to mentorship, diaspora engagement, and educational innovation. Her research has been supported by Grand Challenges Canada and the Jamaica Ministry of Education, through which she has had a critical role in developing school-based mental health interventions across the island. Dr. Robertson Hicklin has served in various leadership roles, including chairman of the board of managers at Meadowbrook High School and as a justice of the peace. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time where our keynote speaker is going to present. And I know you're applauding in the background there, but I'm going to give the welcoming applause to have Miss Dr. Hillary Robertson Hicklin on our platform as our keynote speaker. As she presents to us this morning, I'm replacing that spotlight and there you are. Thank you for all those emojis that were flowing up. Lovely. Thank you so very much. Wonderful.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. De Freitas, a colleague of many years, for giving me this opportunity to overcome my anxieties about social media with the help of Miss Thompson, Jackie Thompson, and Dr. Walcott, both very young people. And that is actually one of the things that we're looking at. How do we share the knowledge about social media? And so this morning we have heard actually excellent presentations about what is social media and what are some of the constraints. Of course, this morning we're looking at the positive side that we are actually sharing with each other. The ability to speak with a colleague in New York, one in Turks and Caicos, some in Clarendon, some in all over the place. And so that is one of the things, the whole question of interconnectivity, I think it's called, and the connection between people of different age groups and so on. Of course, this also includes the fact that many of your parents and grandparents are not as savvy as perhaps the 3-year-old with the telephone or with the other devices. But this morning I want us to say, I'm speaking to you from a psychiatrist's office. And this is something that we need to look at in terms of the whole question about mental health. We recognize that we have stigma. People are afraid to go to the psychiatrist. And I think I want to show you the psychiatrist here, that he doesn't have any monstrous teeth or anything like that. And I want to show you my other colleague, Miss Thompson, who has worked on this project with me and has herself children, particularly a child of 8 who is going through the process. And so as we're looking at student mental health, there are a few things I want to say to you. One of them is, decades ago, I did a course called Career Development and Decision Making. It was a long, long, long time ago. And it brought certain issues to mind, some of which have changed considerably, and some of which also remain the same. And here is a paradox. This digital landscape does not mean that we are no longer human beings who have the need to connect with other people, who need information, who need to lead a balanced life, who have psychological problems. And let me just use this moment to say, when in 2019 we learned that if the pandemic came, we were going to have deep psychological consequences, it has proved to be absolutely correct. So on top of all of the other challenges facing us in this 21st century, we're having the fallout of deep psychological consequences. And I was speaking to the principal of a leading school at a recent function, and he said, Dr. Hickling, you cannot imagine some of the things that students are doing in my school. And I said, what? He said, yes. He said, maybe these problems were here before, but post-COVID, things have really gotten outrageous. So we're going to have to talk about the things that are happening in our world, how they affect our behavior, and most importantly, in terms of my presentation, what can we do about them? Because we are not powerless. We are able to promote resilience, which has been an interest of mine for many years. And in fact, I was involved in a project called Dream a World, in which underperforming students and children with behavioral problems were addressed, and their involvement in the performing arts and with the psychological intervention were able to do much, much, much better. In fact, we need to find out what has happened to some of the students. So we realize that there's a dual impact of social media on student mental health. So we have the normal challenges of adolescents and young people. We acknowledge that such groups of people can have mental health problems. There was a time when people believed that only older people had mental health problems. But we're getting a lot more information about trauma and something called ACEs, which are adverse childhood effects. So these things affect our children, whether it is violence in the home, various kinds of sexual problems, whether it is economic situation, whether it is this impact of migration. And at this time, I just wanted to also link into something that Mrs. De Freitas said. She spoke about the fact that we're having the 49th conference of CARICOM, and the outgoing chairperson from Barbados, the Prime Minister of Barbados, raised a profound question. She said that we no longer are going to be having ships coming in to take over our countries. We're talking about a battle for the mind. And the battle for the mind, she lifted her cell phone and said, we need to recognize that that is where the battle is taking place. We also acknowledge that there are ways in which we need to create our own satellites. We also need to be looking at content, because the content is absolutely important. We're giving our children and young people the impression that they are not part of the world. And so one of the important things we're doing in terms of addressing the issue of resilience is developing the creative capacity of our young people. Very, very, very important. We're also recognizing that there are people in various parts of the world who are spreading false narrative, fake news. And one of the important things we're learning also is the need to develop critical thinking. I need to be able to look at something and recognize that this is a fact, or this is folly, or this is fiction. So we recognize that a lot of things are happening at the same time, and that many of our young people are experiencing something called an epidemic of loneliness. They're isolated. They live in places in which it is maybe not safe. You don't know who is the neighbor. And your device is your only connection to the world around you. And so we're looking at using that beautiful word to navigate the digital landscape. Okay, so we realized, and here's a picture of young people elsewhere. We could have had a picture of young people in our own environment. Social media has become a significant factor in the lives of students, positive and negative, beneficial and detrimental. So we want to look at this in our own context. I want every person who is on this current platform to think about how they have come to embrace social media and what are their individual problems and challenges. And part of that has to do with the recognition that it has differential impacts on different people. Everybody is not the same. So quickly, I'll tell you something this morning. When Mrs. De Freitas asked me to do this, I thought, oops, and it's going to be, I said, in person or online? She said online. I thought, oops. And so, of course, I had been thinking it through, and I had thought about I was about to say normal, but the way in which we used to put presentations together. And then I had to approach a young person, Miss Thompson, and we were developing, what's the name of it again? Oh. We were doing a PowerPoint presentation. And after the PowerPoint presentation, Dr. Walcott said, what about Prezi? In other words, there are many different ways in which we can prepare material. And at this point, I just want to bring to you a more informed or example of something. I went to a classroom in a prep school on Teachers' Day, and I decided I was going to ask the children to start to write a book about what I want to be when I grow up. So I took a book that I had written to show them. And luckily I spoke to Mrs. De Freitas before, because I should not have been surprised. So we had people who wanted to be surgeons, astronauts, cosmonauts, teachers, content creators, YouTubers, comic makers, and all kinds of things. So one of the important things we are recognizing, especially for those who are from the primary school in Clarendon, I believe it is, that children are trying to make choices, as of course this organization is called Choices. But we are recognizing that some of the things that they are going to become have not yet been invented. And therefore, when your child tells you they want to be a cosmonaut or an astronaut, you better say, well, that's a good idea. Not, that is impossible. So because a parent, a teacher, a guidance counselor cannot conceive of something that a child can become, does not mean that that is not so. So we have to open our minds and our imaginations. This will help to prepare us for what is happening locally and globally, because we now have something called FOMO, which is what? What is FOMO? Well, we'll find out what FOMO CAPS is and cyberbullying. Sadly, some of the people who have been bullied in cyberbullying have gone to the extreme of committing suicide. And this shows how dangerous it can be when we don't have any filters. And we'll talk a little bit about the way in which we have to filter out information which is not appropriate, not correct. FOMO is the fear of missing out. That was something I just learned. Let me also say to everyone, we are constantly learning. Constantly we are learning. So that the things that we thought we knew, some of them have proved to be wrong. Okay. All right, so we know that we're going to look a little bit about who is using the global social media. So in the world, there are 4.9 billion. I think there's 7 billion people in the world. If you can, please check it. And that is another important thing, folks. Do not take what you read as gospel. Find out from credible sources, because there are people who are mischievous, who are purposely sending out wrong information. We also have people who are scamming. We have all kinds of people. Now, I was amazed to find out, for example, that 90% of internet users in Jamaica. I knew before that Jamaica had a very high usage of telephones, but we're looking at 90% of our internet users in Jamaica. Now, what are some of the platforms that you use in Jamaica? What are some of the platforms? Mrs. De Freitas already spoke about them, and you know what they are. So we are connected to the world, and people are using them, and particularly young people are using them. And young people are using them, as I used to say when I worked at UWI, you could pass 6 young people, and each of them was on a device. They were not speaking to the person sitting beside them, but somebody 1,000 miles away. So we're looking at a lot of people who are part of a virtual world. And I used to say to students, so how is it you can have 1,000 friends? Who is a friend? What is a friend? And so we recognize that this situation is changing. And for those who are listening, I remember asking, how is it possible for someone to end a relationship online? And they said, sometimes you just have to do it that way. In other words, yesterday I was in a relationship and today I'm single, but I haven't spoken to the person at all. And that's very serious. Okay, so we're recognizing that there's a high degree of usage of social media in Jamaica. Much of it is coming from people overseas, although increasingly there are local users. Okay. And so we're recognizing that it has both positive and negative effects. Oh, we're going backwards. Sorry about that. Luckily, I have who I call consultants. I have to have consultants everywhere. Okay? Everywhere. We are recognizing, okay, yes. So we know we have all of those enjoying. What is the positive impact of social media on social student mental health? Okay, we can foster connections, provide, you can go back. Provide social support networks and enhance communication. Let me just say, during the period of the pandemic, school was able to continue because those of us who had devices, and that is another problem we have to look at, not every home had appropriate access to devices, so that people were able to continue their schooling. We also were able to provide support networks, and we were enhancing communication. One of the things that people are saying is we are forgetting how to speak to people face to face. Our social skills are declining while the ones that come through social media are increasing. And so that is something that we're needing to be careful about. How do we maintain the balance between developing our social skills and the ones to do with dealing with the technology? Can you have a virtual friend? Question. Is that the only way to approach relationships? Question. Okay. On the downside of this, as we are forgetting how to approach each other. In fact, you can see some of the people there. I'm told even inside of some households, somebody's upstairs, somebody's downstairs. And the person upstairs and downstairs, instead of speaking face to face, they're using Facebook. But what does this result in? Increased anxiety and depression. I'm worried about how I'm feeling. Do people like me? And there's a whole this question. Am I as good looking as the people and happy and rich and so on as the people I'm seeing? In fact, people are creating themselves. They're making up who they are in order to try to fit in. This is a very, very, very serious challenge because half of the people who are making up these things, it's not real. Okay, so we realize that results in me becoming depressed due to constant comparisons. Am I as good looking? Am I as brilliant? Okay, and I also developed some unrealistic standards for judging myself. And these things can be quite unreal. But I don't know because, hey, I'm looking at the pictures of these people and they're saying I'm having a fantastic time and I'm beautifully dressed and I have a lot of friends and I went to all of these places. Many users report feeling isolated despite being connected online. You know what the word exacerbate means? It means it makes it worse. I feel lonely. I don't feel like I fit in. I don't belong. And therefore, one of the reasons that people are bullying other people or able to bully other people is because they sense that there's a gap in me. I am feeling a sense of unbelonging. So this is something that we need to address and become quite aware of. And then we have cyberbullying. In other words, and I'm going to just be quite plain. Somebody thinks they're having a private relationship with someone and exposes their naked self. Somebody else is then trying to extort money from them or expose them. With the result that various things can go wrong. Secondly, there are many adults who are exploiting children's innocence and loneliness by saying, I'm a 16-year-old and let us meet in the plaza. But in fact, when I meet the person in the plaza, it happens to be a grown man and this teenager is at that person's mercy. And we have heard of stories of people losing their lives, people merely escaping from people who are predators. So that whole area of that sexual exploitation is something we have got to deal with. So we have serious emotional distress and long-term psychological effects and a pressure to maintain a certain online persona, which can also contribute to stress and decline in self-esteem. In other words, I don't think I'm worthwhile. I think I'm ugly. I'm dressing, clothes that are inappropriate. To complicate matters, many of our parents and grandparents don't have the tech savvy of the young person, so they cannot understand what it is you are looking at. Why, when instead of going to bed at night, or for the next few hours, you are on the tablet or on the computer or on the phone. And let me say, the ophthalmologists and the pediatricians are saying you should not be on a device for more than 2 hours a day with half-an-hour sections, 4 of them. However, there are many people who are on the tablet all day. There are people for 7 hours. It is affecting their eyesight. It is affecting their brain development. And so the parent who gives you the device in order to keep you safe inside your home does not necessarily realize that you could be becoming violent, you could be getting access to pornography, and so on. And so I want all of us listening to recognize, and perhaps Choices will have to do a session for parents, etc., because there is information and there are skills we need to have to cope. If I have needed a team to help me to get this together this morning, can you imagine what the parent, the grandparent is feeling? Okay. So we had heard from Mrs. De Freitas, the developments in terms of cyberbullying. All right, so FOMO again. Feelings of what is it? Fear of missing out. In other words, I don't belong. Now, one of the important things for children and adolescents is a sense of belonging. And many of you would have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of need. And that reminds us that we are social beings and that we need to be part of communities. The only place that we need to be looking at is how do we devise a sense of belonging. Now, for example, there was a time when people in the holidays were spending the time with their relatives in the country. Many people no longer have relatives in the country, and some relatives abroad. And of course, now with the programs that Mr. Trump, etc., is organizing for people in the United States, there are going to be many, many problems with families reunifying. Okay, so second group of people, we recognize that the cyberbullying has increased. You know, there's some observation that has been made. Things that I would not say to your face, I am very happy to write the most terrible things about other people. You know why? Because I can't see them. You see, when we are able to see each other, there are things that we would be able to look at their faces and we would have to recognize. And you know, I can't really say that. But people are prepared to tell lies, to defame people's character, and to do all sorts of things in terms of this bullying. And part of it, why are people bullies? Because of a sense of inadequacy in themselves. That is a real reason. I don't feel complete and I'm going to make life give you hell. Okay, second one, 2015. Okay, so 2015. All right, we're becoming more and more aware of them, continuing. And we're realizing that this fear of being left out is causing people to become even more anxious, you know? And this is therefore something we have to address. Mental health campaigns aim to educate students about feeling left out, cyberbullying, promoting awareness and resilience. Now, I've done a lot of work on resilience because for every negative, there's a positive. And I want to encourage you to recognize some things. We are not powerless. Okay, so what are the things that we can identify the negative impact of social media? Changes in mood. A very cheerful person may become irritable. They may become sad. They want to, what's the word now? take themselves out of being involved, becoming more and more isolated. Secondly, my work declines. My performance in school declines. And I want to read something, not read, to bring to your attention. One of the international athletes said, one of the coaches said, you know what? I am going to reduce or remove the amount of time that the athlete can spend on the device, because of course they're going to be what they're calling now haters, who are saying very bad things, really to break down people's competence and so on. So when we notice that somebody's academic or other performance is declining, we realize there's a problem. Withdrawal. People who used to be friendly and outgoing becoming withdrawn and isolated is another signal that I feel something is wrong with me, and therefore I'm going to keep away from other people. Continue. And this is a very important one. Are you sleeping enough? So insomnia on one hand, or excessive sleeping is another hand, and it may indicate that you are struggling with the impact of social media, especially, as I said, the rest of the household thinks you are sleeping, but you are really on the device. Okay, so how do we exercise our power? How do we deal with resilience? And what is resilience? It is about overcoming adversity. And in this way, some elements of adversity include dealing with social media. Okay, adapt well to change, keep going in the face of adversity, especially crucial in the context of social media, where there may be many negative elements of peer pressure and negativity. Let me also say something. Up to adolescence, the beginning of adolescence, the family is the most important. But you see, once you become a teenager or no, a tweenager, it becomes your peer group. And let me encourage the parents who are listening, and get to know your children's friends. Get to know them, because they are critical in terms of healthy development and resilience. Many years ago, my mother visited Venezuela. And she said one of the great things she noticed was that there are multi-generational activities. In Jamaica, for example, and perhaps elsewhere, we have young people at some events, older people at some events. Why are we not getting families together? That is another way of promoting resilience. I belong to this group of people. I look like these people. They love and respect me. And so that's another important way in which we have to be building resilience, expanding our social networks. In addition, I'm going to encourage students to become involved in activities. Okay, so we're promoting open communication. We are developing teaching coping strategies. When I'm feeling lost and alone, what do I do? Do I call a friend? Do I even have any friends? Do we foster critical thinking? And what is critical thinking? Analyze the content, inform decisions about the social media use. Because somebody could tell me something, and I say, but you know, I have checked with a credible source, and that information is incorrect. There was a time back in the day, when people would say, I read it in the Gleaner. No, I saw it on social media does not mean that it is accurate, it is correct. We want to, as I was saying earlier, encourage extracurricular activities where young people and elderly people come together with other people. And that is something that is really very important. Encourage extracurricular activity. And most importantly, from where I literally am sitting, offer mental health resources. So for example, we have just concluded the PEP. There are some people who are elated because of the way they got their choice. And there are some people who are feeling depressed because of where they have been sent. It is time, here in the picture, we're seeing this young woman sitting, covering her face, all alone in the corridor. Do we see people all alone? Are people getting involved with negative peer groups because they are feeling so alone and isolated? The answer is yes. So one of the things we have to do is we have to go to the guidance counselor. And the important thing about trust, we live in a society where people do not trust each other. We have to trust someone. So whether you're going to go to your doctor, your pastor, your guidance counselor, your teacher, your friend, we have to find ways of saying, you know, Jackie, you usually are such a cheerful person. What has happened? And let me give you something that is very important in terms of the parent and so on. The person, this psychiatrist in the United States said, I no longer ask, what is wrong with you? I ask, what has happened to you? Now, I think I might have used my time, and therefore I am very open to questions. Okay.
Dr.
I said there's one thing that is missing.
You do have a few, you are going in sync. Your timing is good.
Excellent.
So you may continue.
Okay, so two things that come from that. One is the way in which we try to organize our time. And we need to find ways of telling a person, you have been on the tablet too long. It's time to go outside and plant some things. Get involved in getting some sunshine. So managing time is a critical part of building resilience. Also, my colleague, Ms. Thompson, has pointed out to me that the artificial intelligence issue is now on top of our minds. So there are some people who are saying, you know what? In a few years, most people are going to be made redundant. That's one view. Secondly, you don't need to do any further studies. You'll be able to manage it. All of these things need to be critically assessed. Yes, we need to prepare our young people to, I think one word we learned during COVID was to pivot. So I start out with a basic set of tools. And tools are both physical and intellectual. But I can apply these same tools to doing different things. Let me use an example. You may be a phenomenal cook. Maybe you're planning to become a chef. But maybe one of the things you're going to be doing is trying to establish a restaurant. Maybe something that you're going to try to do is to write a cookbook. There's a whole range of things. So it's one thing to know how to prepare the food, but you need to do it for yourself. Part of it is the food that you prepare as a knowledgeable person who has done home economics or whatever it is to provide nutritious food. It's no point knowing something which we don't apply. And that is something I want us to think about. A lot of our academic knowledge remains in the books and in our heads. What are we doing with it? So an important thing that we need to do is to move from being people who absorb and instead being people who create. And I know there is some work going on about the creative and cultural industries. How do we get people to channel their talents, all of them? Because in life we're going to have several different careers. And as I have used to say to students at UWI, if you have your whatever qualification and you make the fantastic cupcakes, make cupcakes. So part of what we're recognizing that no skill that we have is less value. And I want us to recognize we don't value the person because they have a PhD, an MD, an LLB. Because as I used to tell the students, having qualifications must not turn you into an idiot. That's my view. You are supposed to use the knowledge for the development of the community, for the development of yourself. And let me probably say this. A virtual community is not enough. Where we live, where we work, where we go to school are all important parts of us building social systems. And I want to encourage all of us, all of you, to become part of being mentors, helping other people who are having challenges that you have overcome, that you are overcoming, that allow you to be of help to other people. And also, maybe the last point I want to make is try to foster and sustain good relationships. One of the people who has spoken to me in the chat says that I taught her at university. Supposing I was a bad person, supposing I had done her something wrong. And the fact is, we're literally living in a very small world. And some of the people who you thought you would never see again, you're going to meet them tomorrow when you go to work. And secondly, Mrs. De Freitas and I have known each other for some time, and we worked on the publication of a newsletter years ago. So we have managed to keep in touch with each other. There is a quality of relationships that we need to learn to sustain. There's a challenge because many of us, when we get, when we have a problem with someone in our home or at work or so, we want to end the relationship. And I know that there are ways in which we can find that we can help to build and foster good relationships. Okay, how are we on time?
We're doing well. Would you like to have persons share any questions they have, or you may go ahead and take the slide to the end?
No, absolutely. Because, the whole question of us listening to young people is very important. And in that regard, when I went to teach at the university this round, I realized the students were of a different generation. And we really need to hear what they are saying. Not think about when we were younger or young, but what is happening to them now. So that is an important thing. So we can listen here, and whatever we can't cover now will be covered in the breakout rooms. That's another relatively new concept, eh?
Right.
Okay, so yes, I'm willing to field questions, and I have to thank you all for giving me this chance to think about and present this material, because I have learned a lot doing this. Okay, I'm open.
Thank you, Dr. Hicklin. This has been very, very interesting. What we're going to do, I know you're not quite finished. This is not the end of the slide, is it? So you're facilitating some questions in the interim, correct?
Okay. No, I think in terms of this, it was finished. I remember that a lot of material, in a sense, was covered by previous speakers. And so I haven't bothered to regurgitate that, because we really have to listen to what young people are saying. Oh, I know one more thing I said. Part of the culture in which we are operating, you chat too much, shut up your mouth. We can't encourage people to have open communication if they are afraid to speak, because they think they're stupid, because we don't want to hear what they have to say. And I used to say to students, just like we're reading books written by people from other places, you can write a book, yes, and reading is still something that is important. And I will give you an example. Sweden, the country Sweden, 15 years ago, went all computer. You know what they're doing now? They're going back to students having to read, because reading is as important for our development and thinking as anything else.
Absolutely, totally agree. Thank you for sharing that bit of insight. As Dr. Hicklin just mentioned, that reading is very important, and she also wants to hear the voice of the different students. If there are any students on the platform this morning, I'm inviting you all to drop your question in the chat so that I can read for you. I know your voice needs to be heard, but due to the technicalities, we will be able to read them for you. Dr. Hicklin, that presentation was most interesting and enlightening and gave us a lot of food for thought. But before we come to the part where we finally give that congratulations, you mentioned that you wanted to hear, and we are extending right now to anyone in the chat who may have a question. to just drop that question in the chat right there. Lovely presentation, wonderful presentation indeed. Agreeing with Rachel Harvey and Patrina Hamilton. Shirley, any question there about?
As I used to tell
Yes, go ahead, Dr. Hickling.
as I used to tell students, there is no question that is too stupid to be asked. This platform allows us to communicate with each other. So please do not fear that there's any question that you're thinking about, but it was too stupid, so I couldn't bother ask. Please, please, please.
And I think because you have reiterated that, we have Michelena Black with the question, what is the suggested limit on social media time daily? I think that was
Okay.
mentioned earlier.
I've recently spoken to a pediatrician and an ophthalmologist. They say it should be no more than 2 hours, and the 2 hours should be broken down or can be broken down into 4 half-an-hour sessions.
Let me repeat that, no more than 2 hours, and then it should be broken down into 4 half-an-hour sessions. That means we need to rethink how we are on social media right now, not just as adults, but especially for our kids. Thank you so very much for that, Michelena Black. Any other question? And we have Leanna Phillip. How do we come about? Leanna, do you want to rephrase that? It said, how do we come about doing so? I'm just asking her to rephrase. Chapelton Primary School listened attentively and the students were taking notes. Very informative presentation. I think you know that, Dr. Hickling. Great presentation, beautifully done. The limited time given. Okay, do you have any suggestions, Dr. Hickling, as to how one can get that done with that limited time, 2 hours and for the 30 minutes? Miss Phillip or Leanna Phillip would like to know, how can we go about doing so? Do you have any suggestions?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to say it is very difficult.
It is a
difficult.
reality. Yes.
Okay. Secondly, I know that perhaps it has to increase as people are, when they're using their devices to do their homework and to do the things. So maybe I'm talking about the kind of way in which it is being used. But one of the things that I believe could work better is using some kind of clock. And I know nowadays we're using digital clocks, not the old time kind of clocks. How much time is on it? And I think we also have to break up the time. You see, after that half an hour, for example, maybe we have to go outside. I have a feeling that there are too many young children and young people in particular who are sitting down inside. How and where do we find places to go outside? I do not have an answer. It is a set of things that I wanted to think about. When do we do our exercise outside? When do we plan things outside? When do we go swimming outside? When do we look at nature outside? Now, I know we're also having a problem in the places in which we live, because a lot of them are high-rise buildings and they don't seem to have even a green grass anywhere. It means to say we have to get people planting things, and in some cultures, each child has either a section that they use to grow stuff, or a potted plant, or a something. Part of what we're looking at is linking into nature and the health that is outside. Of course, we know that some of the time we are using the device and eating at the same time. Very, very difficult to break that habit and very dangerous. So I believe that we need to get outside more often. I saw a video of somebody in China, the principal, and you know what the principal at the school was doing? Himself and all the students were exercising outside. No, I don't want to create a riot at some of our schools, but guess what? But guess what? Supposing that was something that we did,
Right.
you know? So how about getting from inside to outside? How about us being able to change activities like reading and drawing and singing and all those things that could be available to us? We are recognizing that we are now needing to rethink. People talk about how in the country there used to be climbing trees and picking plums and etc. And those who of course have chores to do. But part of what we're looking at is getting up off the seat, saving our eyes in terms of this business of the thing. So I don't know if anybody else has any ideas of they've done anything that works, because you don't want to get into a fight with your child or grandchild or ward or whatever about using it. And I suppose where there are schools, they can help children to look at using the device for entertainment for a period of time. And when that time is over, they do something else. In other words, we almost have the timetable how the use goes.
Absolutely. Getting from the inside to the outside, encouraging games, timetabling, back to the time. And we have persons supporting you right there in the chat, mentioning that they were in the country, they grew up rurally, and they were outside playing games. Questions are being asked. Do students play marbles and jump rope? Are they taking breaks and are there physical activities? So then the solution, as was mentioned by Mr. Campbell earlier, is for us to think about and determine how are we going to implement that. Do we have to be very purposeful about it as we have these timetabled and to set these segments every 30 minutes for 2 hours? How can we go about setting that up on the phones so the students and ourselves are not exposed? Because it's not just the children, but adults equally are being affected by the same thing.
Thank you for bringing that up, because there are increasing stories of children who are very disgusted, I think, and feeling desperate because their parents are constantly on the phone and not paying them any attention. And so when they observe you on your phone, you know, there's a story of a boy who says to his father, who's a consultant, "Dad, I want to ask you, your boss, how much you get paid per the hour." "Why?" the father asked. He says, "Because I would get that, I would save my money so you could pay attention to me." Can you believe that?
Yes, yes.
So we're asking the parent, the teacher, the whomever, how much time are you spending on the device? And
That's
it's
right.
okay.
What is the example that the parent is setting? And
Yes.
it's a say as I do as I say, but not as I do. Because that example is what kids are going to follow. And if you say differently, they're going to say, why? You do that, why can't I? There are some very important points that have come up, and I'm very happy. But there's something that I want to ask. If we are talking about education, would we like to see some changes in the educational system where children would be doing more practical things, maybe not always in a classroom, and that would be part of encouraging them to do things outside, do things with their hands, make things, so more practical exercises, and encouraging them away from devices. And also, is there an age at which it might be said that a child should not necessarily have exposure to device until they're that age?
Okay, let me quickly go, and then others can speak. One thing is, people use the device. Okay, you will see a 3-year-old somewhere at church or whatever, and they have been given a device so they can look at it. And I know in many cultures, children are learning how to meditate, how to be able to sit still for a period of time. Because what is happening is that I'm feeling bored because, nothing is happening. And, those who know about the neuroscience talk about the short attention spans and what is happening in people's brains, the ability to sit still. At the same time, you can't expect to take children to various adult places and expect them to sit still. So there must be time for them to run, wild. Because that's another part of it. Play is a critical, important part of life. If we don't encourage our children to play and have enough safe places where they can play, then going outside is not going to be particularly helpful because there can be problems outside. So that is something that we need to be thinking about. I'm very happy to see people doing these 5Ks and 10Ks because families seem to be doing that. But we need to do more of those kinds of things. Many more of those kinds of things. And finally, I want to bring to our attention, and maybe people know about it already, some things that are called forest schools. Apparently, these are
please? Did you say forest?
Forest schools. No learning takes place in a classroom. The classroom is outdoors. Can you believe that? So you learn in the forest. Of course, you know what that also means? That means that we are going to have to take better care of our environment. Because if we are operating in concrete jungles, it doesn't help. And I will close my comments at this point. From an inner city area, the person takes these children to the lookout at Red Hills. And a little girl says, Jesus Christ, we reach a foreign. And the other girl says, girl, you fool, you can't drive to foreign. You have to fly or go on a boat. Many of our children have no idea of what happens out there. They live in communities in which they are isolated and cut off. And that is something that we can do. We need to have more field trips and more places for children to go to. I will give you another example. When we were doing this Dream a World program, we brought the children from Almontown Primary School, which cannot be more than 5 minutes away by walking, up to Connolly Avenue, which is opposite to Woolman's. There are many children who had never done the journey. How can that be? We have to recognize that they need to go to places and, look at new places and visit the library and go to this other place and so on. Because otherwise it's home, school, or online. And that's very unhealthy. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. That okay is an okay right back to me. We understand that, Dr. Hicklin, that yes, indeed, it is very unhealthy. And we appreciate everything, every contribution you have made to us this morning. There were lots of persons supporting you in the chat, indicating how important it is for us to provide these activities, and then to also look at how the schools are demanding the use of tablets, yet still the time that they should spend on it. So that's something that maybe that needs to be further discussed in the system to see how the balance is going to be. Members of the platform this morning, I am inviting you all to go to the React button, and we're going to click on our applauses and all the emoticons we can use at this time as we thank. I see them coming up. Yes, go ahead. We are seeing those coming up, showing our appreciation for Dr. Hicklin. Are you seeing them all, Dr. Hicklin, as persons are applauding digitally?
Okay.
Your presentation. Are you seeing them all coming up? They're floating up there.
Okay, I have to run and get my consultant to step out of the room. You are screen sharing. I see one thing going there. Let me.
Yes,
Jackie!
there are lots of applauses going for you because we appreciate your presentation, and you are being applauded for your input on resilience.
Thank you.
Indeed.
It's my pleasure.
Indeed, it was a pleasure having you, and we appreciate it wholeheartedly. Please continue the good work you're doing, as this has now raised this opportunity for us to re-examine how is it that we're monitoring the students on social media, another opportunity actually, and then to look into the timing. How are we going to go ahead and control that kind of timing? Thank you very much, and an applause from my end as well, as I applaud on behalf of everyone on the platform. Lots of applause going up for you, Dr. Hicklin. Thank you most kindly.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You have all been very, very, very supportive. And right now, I know that it is time for us to get into another segment of the program. And this other segment of the program is going to involve some breakout rooms and some prizes and all of those that are coming up really, really soon, really very soon. We'll soon have the presentation by Dr. Hicklin off the screen as we get into the next segment. You have been a wonderful, supportive, and participative audience, and we're grateful for that. I can see that persons have been listening and see the interactions in the chat. Very good. Highly appreciated. There were questions asked and answered. If for some reason we overlooked anyone, we apologize, never mind. Just going sometimes with how this is being developed. What's next? Okay, listen keenly to this part. We're going to have breakout rooms, and for anyone on the platform who is not aware of how breakout rooms work, we're going to stay on the same platform, and we're going to have you automatically be placed into some rooms that we're going to have further discussion. So these rooms will now give you the opportunity to speak, right? So here we are going to have presenters using social media professionally, supporting those affected by online stress, setting boundaries without breaking trust. Now, when these rooms are established, I know that maybe you may feel that, oh, I'd rather to go to this one, but to have a balance, we have decided to have everyone go into these rooms automatically. When you enter the rooms, the facilitators will be the persons to manage each segment. We have different presenters, different facilitators, and you would have seen their bios in the chat. Miss Anne-Marie Dawkins Johnson, Miss Roxanne Anderson, we have Mr. Leighton Campbell, right? And as we go through that segment, this is your time to talk. This is your time to to share. And if there's anyone who is going to be willing to actually go out and say, okay, I want to be the representative, you can do that very early, like after the first minute or two, you can indicate that you want to share back, because when you're through 20 minutes, 2 minutes before the countdown time, you're going to get that warning to say the breakout room is going to automatically close. So therefore, it's a time to wrap up, because of how the digital thing works, we won't be able to pull it back right now. So we're going to ask you to focus completely on trying to come back with at least 3 messages as to what else you're going to bring to the table based on the topic that you guys are discussing. Now, I know that you may have 1 or 2 questions, and I'm just giving a couple seconds. If anyone thought I wasn't clear or want me to clarify anything, can you go ahead and just type that in the chat? And the final meeting agenda is posted again. So we're going to have that segment. So if there are any issues, I'm going to invite you. If you get knocked off for some reason, you re-enter and then we'll reassign you. All good? All righty. The prizes are coming up, never mind. They're going to be here. Well, let's get into this aspect of it first. So what is going to happen? You will see a pop-up appear on the screen and you're going to accept and go into your different breakout rooms. Tap, tap.
Yeah, host will have to manually join.
Yes. By now, you should be receiving the different pop-ups.
Ms. Mirage, are the facilitators yet assigned?
That's gonna be done simultaneously. That's being done. That's being done.
They're very good.
Still have 42 people on the platform. You see. Room 3. Okay. Presenter.
Hi, good morning.
Hello.
I was having some technical difficulties. I had to leave and rejoin, but now I can't re-enter my breakout room.
Okay, so just a moment. Three rooms. Why is it not? I'm moving you to breakout room number 1, Angela, to just see if all is well.
Trudy, hey, Trudy here. I was in
Yes.
breakout room 2 and everything was fine, but then I got kicked out and put into
Oh.
3. So I left 3. So I think you can put me back invite me back to 2.
Okay, just a moment.
Oh, you're inviting me to one. Okay, I will join one.
Trudy, I'm seeing it. Protect to Trudy. Come on, where are you? Okay, put you back to one, you said?
No, to two.
To two.
Yeah,
Okay, there you go.
thanks.
Jamie Lee, are you there? There's still 35 persons on the platform that have not gone into the rooms. Room 3 is not showing up as an option. You want to go to room 3 and the Freitas? Okay, just a moment. Why is room 3 not showing up? Anyone on the platform still not over in the room? Saskali. Try and find you.
Morning. Yes, I got kicked off. So I
Uh,
rejoined. I think I'm in room one. This is
what's your
Jermaine
name, please? What's your name?
Young. Jermaine Young.
Say it one more time.
Jermaine Young.
Jermaine Young. Okay, just a moment. And what room were you in?
I saw room one.
Room 1. Okay, you're being reassigned. There you go.
Thank you.
Welcome. Jennifer Johnson, are you there? I'm back. Still have 15 people not there. Rita Douglas, moving you over to room 2. Any questions? I'm still seeing 16 persons on the platform. Jermaine Young, okay, you already was reassigned. Jermaine, go. Leon Elcock, still not in the room. There we go. If you're back on because you were kicked off, you could just let me know, please. So I can reassign you to the room you were. Sandra, to room 1. Debbie Gillespie. You still have some time to join, so don't come off as yet. Donna Preston. Elizabeth Clacken. Sent you over to 3.
Huh?
Hello? Anyone
Hi,
there? Yes, what's your name?
Tavon Campbell.
Tavon. So you're not yet in a room, are you, Tavon? Okay.
No,
Let's see. Okay, Tavon. And your TA, not seeing you yet. Okay, to not Tavon there. You're not there. Tavon. Let me see your name. Oh, Tavon Campbell. Okay, I'm moving you over to room 3. Go ahead. Accept. Anyone else not yet in a room?
I'm not seeing anything. Am I being heard? Debbie Gillespie here.
Welcome back, folks, as we're all making our way. I would have joined the different rooms and made the announcement that we're going to be heading back a little later than we expected, but nonetheless, we're all back. And when I stopped in and listened, there were very engaging discussions going on. Persons, sorry about that. That's obtruding. Right, there were persons interacting with each other and sharing, and that's what we are pushing and promoting, that we want to have more and more persons sharing. And in the essence of sharing, I'd like to actually give out a prize at this point before we even go into anything further. I know that so far I'm seeing the numbers climbing back up to say that most persons would have returned. 155. Here we go. Still waiting on the numbers to come back up. And this prize before our next presentation, anyone who was listening to Dr. Hicklin, she mentioned something, and I would like to find out if anyone was able to recall or was paying attention at that particular time. Now, of these lovely options that I have, this one is going to go out to anyone who is actually resident here in Kingston, Jamaica. We have prizes for the Caribbean islands as well, but anyone who is actually resident here in Kingston, Jamaica. I would like to just shout out, and we can just have some emojis, because there were persons who made themselves known, like where they were coming, where they were registering from, and there were persons definitely from the president of the Guidance Council Association and persons who wish to take over that post in the future. So a special welcome to you all for being here on the platform. I appreciate that. For all those president-elect, special welcome to, please, let's see that in the emojis as we go through. Special welcome to Grant Spen, Kemps Hill. I see Woodhall Primary. Yeah. Is this Birchilds and St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos Community Club, Alpheus Davis High, Chapelton, Norwich Primary, Fernport. That's Josetta Bryan, Pleasant Valley Primary, actually, Bridgeport, UTech Western Campus, Portmore Community College, Knox College, RC Boys School. Anyone else here? Grenada is being represented. Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation being represented. Titchfield, Salem Primary, Michael University College, Spring Gardens, Eltham Primary, St. Diego High, Bull Bay, Anguilla is in the house. St. Catherine, Daryl Jordan, Dominica Woolmer's Girls, Central High, Jose Marti, St. Kitts, Kellets, Devon. Wow, Central High, Maypen, Williamsfield, Waterford, and the list goes on. Maypen Primary, Ocherius High, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Hugh's High School. I have a prize for those who are physically, because of the nature of the prize, not because you're not going to, take a plane and run over, but because of the nature of this particular prize, I'm going to be Merlin Hottie, St. James Parish, Liberty High. I'm going to be giving out this particular prize, and you know how it goes, how the chat can quickly flood up. So I'll have Jamie Lee Wisdom from Choices. She's going to say who was the first person to actually give this answer. Rise Life Management Services, Kingston Technical High, Clapham High, St. Mary's College, Merlin Otti. Oh my, what a cross-section, and what a lovely, lovely cross-section of persons we have here. Schools being represented. Liberty High, Infant Cluster, Friendship Primary, Mushet, Hard Trust, NSTA, Turks and Caicos Community College. Now let's get one of you from one of these institutions, a winner, to become a winner. Who is that person going to be? If you were listening, can you tell me? And that's the first person to type in the chat. And I won't be able to tell you that you are the first person. We'll have a confirmation right after from someone, from Jamie Lee, who's going to say, okay, that's the first one I saw. Here's my question. There was a statement. made by Dr. Hicklin, and she mentioned that there was an epidemic going on. What kind of epidemic did she mention? An epidemic of? Please type out the full thing. Epidemic of in the chat. First person to type that, you are going to be a winner. You're going to have a dolphin encounter program. This is for the Jamaicans, a dolphin encounter program for 2, swimming with the dolphins. And one of the best things to do in Jamaica is absolute fun by Dolphin Cove, and it's a perfect place to enjoy this lovely experience. Do we have anyone who was able to recall? What did she say? There's an epidemic of... And once we have that represented, I think I'm seeing someone who has written it out, but Jamie Lee will confirm. Jamie Lee, please confirm. When you confirm, then we are going to indicate who that person is.
Indicate what the answer is.
Pardon me?
The answer.
The answer is epidemic of loneliness, and I'm seeing it in the chat. But who was the first? Boy, Carrie Ann, I see you're way down there.
Sasha Lee Grant.
Pardon?
Sasha Lee Grant.
Sasha Lee Grant. And Sasha Lee, can you type where are you representing from? Sasha Lee Grant, I'm told you're the first person to write epidemic of loneliness. Where are you representing from? Jamaica, and which institution? Ta-da! Bel Air High School, give it up. Give it up. Let us support and give up those reactions, those hearts for Bel Air High School. Congrats, Sasha Lee. You're going to make a direct contact with Jamie Lee Wisdom. Send her a chat right now, directly with your contact details, and she'll be getting through to you. Now, guys, it is 11:23, so chances are we are going to be just a tad, but not too much over. But it has been engaging and interesting. What we're going to do now is move into another heartbeat of this presentation. We want to talk about the deep fakes. We want the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission to actually come forward. I know that we need to get 3 points from the different representatives, and we're going to have that afterwards when we have more opportunities for speaking. But right now, we are going to welcome our representative from the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission as she comes on the platform to talk about deep fakes and what's the influence? What's happening with it? Anyone was not yet heard about it? What is it? And what is the influence? How are we going to I keep saying the Betting, Gaming, and I used to work with them. That's why Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica, Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica. Woo-hoo! Yeah. Say that again, Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica. All righty, so here we have our representative who is going to be here, and she is going to give a presentation on deep fakes. I'm going to ensure that she gets set up so that she can actually be pinpointed. Let me just do this part. I know I saw her in a room earlier. You'll need to get on camera for me again. Please get back on camera. Please get back on camera. But in the interim, what I'll ask, because we prayed for smoothness. That is a little glitch, and that's only temporary. I'll ask for the different groups, the different breakout rooms, starting with the Guidance Counselors Association, to actually share their 3 tidbits that we need to be wary of and know about going forward. Go ahead, Mr. Campbell. Do you have a representative, or would you be doing it yourself?
We did not select a representative, but I'm going to call on Miss Renee Mayer to just share those. Yes, she's a guidance counselor. Miss Mayer?
Miss Mayer, if you could put on your camera so we could have you spotlighted.
Okay, I'm not seeing her.
Someone had indicated in the chat in our group that they would gather the points to present, somebody did indicate.
Okay, I did not know. With that person, I did not see that. Whoever that person is, could you go ahead, please, quickly? Thank you.
In the interim, we're just asking Miss Roxanne Anderson Linton if she could open up her video, or you can send a message to us in the interim. So we can get you. I see you. I see you. That member who is gathering the points, you'll have a little more time to do so, and we are going to invite you all to welcome Miss Roxanne Anderson Linton as she presents on Deep Fake. Before she comes on, let us give her that applause. Go down to the reaction button. There we go. With all those amazing applauses, Mrs. Linton, it's your time
All right.
to share with us.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity, because for whatever reason, as you said, anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
I tell you.
I'd actually have the presentation already set and it decided to go. Don't know why. But we are here and I will proceed to share my presentation. I wanted to only share a portion of the screen and I'm not sure why it's not happening at the moment.
Well, in the interim, I could give you another
Yes.
minute or two and
Right.
give out another prize, because I'm
Please
sure
do.
persons are yearning for a prize. All
Please
right,
do,
then.
sure.
Not an issue. So let's move over to a Caribbean prize. So we know that Flow and Digicel has cornered the market Caribbean-wise, and if whichever number you have, whether it's a Flow number or it is a Digicel number, then we will top up accordingly. And if you are the winner, but then you have a postpaid, then you give it to someone, okay? But you'll be the actual winner here. Okay, welcome again from Ascot High School. I see here being represented. Very good. So here is my other question coming up. So get ready to answer in the chat. And it goes like this. I don't know technically. Well, it goes like this. Get ready. I don't know who is going to be first here, but which platform is commonly used for short dance and lip sync videos? And this is for someone in the Caribbean island outside of Jamaica now. So please make sure that this is for someone outside of Jamaica, right? So let us see now. I'm going to answer the question, and the answer is, of course, it is TikTok. Of course, TikTok. Now, if you're from Jamaica, I'm sorry, this prize is not going to be yours. It's going to be for somebody in the region. It is going to be 1,000, actually $10 US phone credit. Who is it? Who is it?
Well, the
TikTok.
first person who answered was Candace Salmon. I'm not who if you're outside of Jamaica.
Can you indicate what's the name of the person?
Sorry, Cadence, sorry.
Cadence. If you're outside of Jamaica, can you confirm? If you're not, then we're moving into the next person. Oh, sure, you're in Jamaica, Miss Salmon. I'm sorry. We're next prize might just be yours, but we'd like to give this for someone that is outside of the island. clap me on my head if I didn't make that clear. So sorry on that. Can we get the
We
next
have
person, Jamie
Olivia
Lee?
Wallace. Next, Olivia Wallace Blake.
Olivia Wallace Blake, where are you? Where are you located, Olivia?
Anguilla.
Anguilla. Then there we are, reaching out to the people in Anguilla. Lovely. Thank you so very much. You are the winner. Can you please send Jamie Lee? And people show some love. Show some love for Caribbean. Show some love, some reactions. Congratulations. Please reach out privately to Jamie Lee and she will definitely have your prize to you. How is it going? I'm gonna still, let me go right back to Miss Linton.
I'm trying to share. It was all up and ready. Let me go
Let's
ahead.
see if because you can't, the
I think
breakout
when I
room. What
break out, yeah, when I broke out, it did something to my
do
presentation
you
because I'm
want to
using it.
send it back to the
Let
team
me,
here and then we'll just share it for you?
all right, let me try that. You can go ahead with the other. I'm so sorry, my
No
apologies.
worries, no worries. We know this platform has these glitches. So next thing that's going to come up for you, we have a little poll and I'm going to invite you to answer some questions on the poll in the interim. Let's gauge your feedback on all of this. So I'm going to launch a poll. So if you're not looking on your screen, turn around. If you walked over to get some water, come back and look and, participate in the poll because, it goes up really quickly and comes down really quickly as well. So let's get ready to answer this poll in the interim. There it is. Bang, off.
Just a reminder for the person who won the prize, can you send me a message, direct message?
Direct message to Jamie Lee once you have won the prize. Yes, people are answering. At what age do you think it's appropriate for teens to start using social media? Wow, that was a 50-50 a while ago. 14 to 16, 17 plus. Interesting perspectives. I can see a buildup. How many hours do you think the average teen spends on social media per day? It's a fight between 1 to 2, 3 to 5, 50-50. Let's see the final results on that. Which social media platform is most popular among teens today? Do you think schools should teach social media safety as part of the curriculum? That's a resounding, looks like 91% of you so far saying yes. Answer in the poll, answer in the poll, answer in the poll. We're gauging to see what's the general feedback like.
Definitely, I'm trying to share this as just a section of the screen, but it's not happening. Not sure what is happening, but it was showing earlier and then it just went.
We're hearing you. There it is. 83 or 85. Come on, people. Put out those responses. Put out those responses. Keep them coming. 95 total. Come on, there are 100 and odd persons on the platform. Give it a click. Don't just let it stay there static. Give it a click. Okay. Numbers building, at least 100. At least 100. Somebody who hasn't clicked, please click. I'm at 99. 99, 99. One more response. One more person just say something. One more person just click. No? It's not gonna happen? No way,
Miss,
Jose?
we're not seeing the poll. We're not seeing the poll.
Oh, some persons are not seeing the poll?
Oh, so we cannot answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, we have 100 total responses. Sorry about that. Sorry about the persons who are not seeing the poll. We have at least 100, and I'm going to end the poll there. The questions asked at the time, and you're going to see the results. A 102 responses. Okay, I'm going to share the results with you. So you can see that generally on our platform, well, for the 102 persons, 14 to 16, they believe is the acceptable time that they should start using social media. How many hours do you think the average teen spends? I think 6+ hours. And which social media platform is most popular? TikTok. And do you think social media has a positive, mostly positive or negative effect? And it said a mix of both. Should parents monitor? Of course, we all agree. So what should we do next to do that monitoring? All right. And do you think schools, that's almost 90% of you. And some believe that they already do. Thanks so much. We're going to go back now and see if we can kick off the segment with deep fake. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for being here with us. We're seeing you. We are definitely seeing Own Your Vibes. Yep. I need to get that off. There we go.
All right. So
So
you're
once you put your video back on, then I'll.
great. Are you seeing my screen?
I'm definitely seeing your screen. Definitely. And we're hearing you loud and clear. So let's just roll that in one more time. Let's give a warm welcome to a representative from Broadcasting Commission. Let us put together our hands. That's my hard clap on your behalf. But everyone else, yes, let's light up the screen. Rachel, Sienna, good. You're also cooperative and encouraging. Exactly what we need. Kenisha, great, wonderful. There you go, Miss Roxanne Anderson Linton. Over to you.
Thank you all so very much. I apologize for all of that and all that took place. My apologies for that. Are you still seeing my screen?
I am still seeing your screen and we are with you and you're ready to go.
I'm happy for that. Great. So thank you for the introduction. And if you permit me a little bit, let me give you some insights on who the commission is and what it is that we do. So the Broadcasting Commission is the country's only electronic media regulator with oversight for free-to-air television, radio, and subscriber television, which we sometimes call cable. So we have oversight for these companies. We ensure that they operate according to the stipulated standards set out in the regulations and also the Act. The Commission also advises on policies of national interest and is responsible for the development of the Children's Code for Programming, which is now revised and reformulated as the Content Code, which is applicable to not just traditional broadcasting, but also to platforms where we get our content. The Commission is also the chief promoter of digital literacy for all Jamaicans, and have developed what we now call the Digital Media and Information Literacy Skills Framework. Now, this framework is a guide to digital skills that we'll be talking about later on, deep fakes and misinformation, knowing how to handle those. And it's we're also steering the country into the digital switch over. This is where we'll be moving from an analog feed to a digital feed, and Jamaica, by extension of that, is the third country in the world, sorry, to have moved from, again, analog to ATSC 3.0. So that's the commission in a nutshell. I will now jump into my presentation. So own your vibe. The society as we live in now encourages us to be our best selves, the best versions of ourselves. And that is great. That is encouraged, and I'm glad for that. It also encourages us to show our prosperity. So things are happening for us. Let us be happy about it. Let us put it on. But what it does not do is it doesn't tell us or encourages us to protect what is unique to us. And that is our image, our vibe, what makes us who we are. And in this context, image includes the physical image, your face, your body, how it looks, your digital image, the digital footprint, your voice, your personalities, your creatives, and even your preferences. And this is where you talk about algorithms and that type of thing, right? So this is also where digital media and information literacy comes front and center. Digital media and information literacy, also known as DMIL, is a structured approach to help Jamaicans and others become more competent and in critical thinking, using digital tools and platforms, how to consume media responsibly, understanding, interpreting, and sharing the information that you now have thoughtfully and responsibly. DMIL is a whole of society approach that encourages us to critically think about our daily navigation of the digital spaces that we're in. It enables us to enjoy the space while understanding the importance of our digital footprint. Now, you may have heard it before, even in our ads, that your digital footprint follows you wherever you go. But some persons don't understand what that means, because this also means that your digital footprint can determine the trajectory of your life. Where will you end up? Sometimes depend on your digital footprint. As I said before, you probably have heard it maybe 1,000 times over. Whatever you share online can never be erased. I had a presentation recently with students of a high school in Kingston. And when I mentioned that to students, they were saying, no, miss, of course you can delete it. If you have money, it can go, you can have links, and it can be done that way. And I brought it to their attention that even if you know all 3-point-something million of Jamaicans here, and you know everyone in the diaspora, it is highly unlikely that you know everyone in the world. So if you come to all 3-point-something of us and say, hey, can you, I'm remorseful, I'd like for this content to be done away with, yeah, we may be able to say, all right, let's forget about it, let's delete it from our memories and that type of thing. But the problem is, someone somewhere else has that ability to bring up that content. The gravity of this statement, where whatever you share can never be erased, it blows over the heads of many, many people. So much so that we still have persons today who create content, and this is obvious every day on TikTok, and then they later have to apologize. Worst case, some persons end up before the courts. The unfortunate reality is that, unlike people, the internet never forgets. It never forgets. And this is because, of course, things are opened on other platforms, saved in the cloud, and has the ability of coming back, and has the potential to disrupt your life over and over again. Now, this next video shows an example of just how one split-second decision can ruin your life forever.
Okay. It seems as if our presenter was probably knocked off by networking conditions. So while we await her return,
I am hearing you. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you now. We weren't hearing you before.
Oh, no, the video, it's there, but
The
you're not
video
hearing,
is here, but
you're not hearing the sound of the video?
the video hasn't moved as yet. The first page hasn't moved.
Are you seeing this page?
Yes, we're seeing own your vibes, protect your image with the phone, with the mobile phone, definitely.
Oh, you're not seeing the other one. Not sure what, but it's playing on my side. Hold on, this is crazy. You're seeing own your vibes. Are you now seeing protect your image?
It's all on the same, yes. On
Protecting your image. You're not seeing that slide?
protect your image. Protect your image. I think if you turn on the video, your video, I think it might sync a little better.
Are you seeing it?
It's just not moving. The next slide is not coming up.
But it's a video in the slide. You're not seeing that. That's what you're saying.
No, we're not seeing that as yet.
Wow.
So while we get that video in the slide to move,
right, so
you want to continue and then see if we
I'll
can get back to
continue.
it?
The video actually was showing a young lady who, I can explain the video.
Sure.
A young lady who was happy to share a private video with someone she thought she loved. A couple weeks later, she decided that they're, no longer an item, and so let's call it a day. The young man, however, did not think it was, in his plan for things to be called a day. Let's move on, and she wants to move on. He didn't, and so he took that photograph and shared it.
Publicly.
So that's what it is. Are you seeing
just a moment, Miss. Someone is suggesting to see if your presentation is in presentation mode.
Yes, it is actually. Are you seeing an image
Okay.
now with two young men?
It's not moving.
It's not moving.
It's not moving.
Oh my, what is happening? Let me try this again. I did a run through last evening. I'm not sure what's happening here.
Okay.
All right,
But
so
we are
you're
here
not.
to support you. We understand. We understand. We have been through these various technical issues with Zoom, and we understand. So if you could go ahead and we'll listen, and if there's someone who in the interim could probably get that up and running, that would be fine. So if you could come on screen and then focus on taking the message across, and we have great imaginations, and we're here to support you so we can think that through in the interim. Do we have persons understanding that we're here supporting and we're seeing the reactions? Are we seeing some thumbs up for that? Absolutely. There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's what we are about. There you go. Thank you so very much. Protecting your image.
That's what you're seeing now.
That's what we're seeing right now.
So I'll go to my backup plan, which is printed.
All right, go right to your backup plan.
All right, so we'll work with what we're seeing here. Great, thanks for your understanding. So
Definitely.
how do you safeguard or protect yourself from digital pitfalls? First, let's define some of the terms that I'll be using. Misinformation, you would have heard that term before somewhere, somehow. We have disinformation, and there's also deepfake. Now, misinformation is false, inaccurate, or misleading information that is shared without the intent to deceive, while disinformation is a deliberate creation and sharing of false information with the intention to deceive, manipulate, or harm. So the difference between both of them is that one has an intention. So let's say you heard something, and let's use an example. You are in the town square and you hear that there is a rush of water coming there. And without thinking, because you are of concern for your friends, your family, you want everyone to get away. So rather than thinking, is that logical? You quickly share that information. that would be considered misinformation, because rather than thinking it through, getting the correct information, you missed the truth and you shared it. Now, let's say you're in the town square and you wanted the square to be cleared out so that you can do a cartwheel without embarrassing yourself. And you decided you need to pull a prank, right? And you want everyone to rush and leave the square so it's free for you alone. Now, that would be an example of disinformation, because your intention was to create harm, to deceive someone, to let everybody go away so that you can have the town square for yourself. So the easiest way to remember that is misinformation is missing the truth, while disinformation is a disregard for the truth. Now, deepfake are AI-generated synthetic media that can convincingly mimic real people's faces, their voices, and their actions. We would have seen in recent times that these types of videos, these type of content have drastically improved. Before now, when I was doing presentations, probably probably not so far back, 2 years ago, we would say in order to identify a deep fake, you would look at the synchronization between the lips and the sound you're hearing, or we look on the hand, because chances are they weren't getting the hands right, they weren't getting the facial features right. Technology has flown past that now, and so people content look real. And so being able to identify deepfake is not impossible, but increasingly hard to combat. Now, outside of investing in technologies such as IPU Flashmark, that will help you to be able to pinpoint when something is real or AI generated, we have to use what we call digital literacy. That is your immediate line of defense. It is far less expensive and in most cases free, and it can be updated just as you would have updated any other software. Maybe not as fast, but it can be updated if you are interested in, making yourself pliable to learning. Being digitally literate will help you to make informed decisions, thereby lowering your chance of damaging your digital footprint. Now, your digital footprint, as was mentioned before, it follows you wherever you go. So before now, what we would do when persons are trying to find out where are you, what are you using, you use your IP information. Now, everything that you go on is asking you to link either through your Facebook, your Instagram, or your email addresses. And even when you try, in some instances, to use another email address, the system you're using, recognizing based on certain things that this is one and the same person. And so you will realize that you're getting the same sort of information, right? So your digital footprint never really leaves you, especially now in this age where things are so easy to come by. So moving forward, adopting the components of digital media and information literacy, or DMIL, as it relates to your personal and professional life, will equip you and empower you to critically think about your daily navigation of the digital spaces. So yes, you want to be able to prepare yourself when you're going online. You're going to be seeing things. You're going to have fun while you're there. But the truth of the matter is, your posts, your content, your likes, your emojis, they say something about you. And sometimes we will say, it's just a like, it's just a laugh. But when you say something, when you click on something, you're endorsing something. It's not enough for you to just know how to use your phone to make a post, to create content. There are other digital skills that you will need to sharpen in order to navigate that digital space effectively. That are necessary for your safety and for your productivity. For you to be able to identify and use certain hardwares and technologies to your benefit, to articulate information properly, to store it, to manage, to locate it, to use it to your benefit, to protect your devices, the content that you create, and the privacy in your own digital environment. The Broadcasting Commission's website has much more information on DMIL and how you can use it to protect yourself, and you can visit the website and you can find that information. You will also need to be deliberate in your online behavior, and adopting these habits can help you on that journey. think before you share. Now, in the video I was hoping would share, in that video, it would show you where, sorry, this is a model of what the email would look like. In that video, it will show you how this young lady had shared a content. I would want for you to understand that once you share a content, whatever it is that you share, once you share it, you can't take it back. You have no control over where it goes after that, who uses it, or how it is used. So you decided that you're going to enjoy the weekend and you would have made a funny joke, a funny video, and you posted it. In your excitement, you've posted it. Someone may not be in your corner and decided that they're going to manipulate this image. And so you have to be mindful about the things you're sharing. How does the background look? Is it, telling on me? Is it showing my parents? Is it showing my sister who is not in a proper suit? Or is it showing my address? Those type of things. Verify all information before sharing it. Now, in many cases, we crave information these days. It is almost as if we're not getting information, we feel as though we're going back in time. And so some persons feel the need to share. Now, in this haste to share, sometimes we are enabling misinformation and sometimes disinformation. And in some cases, if you share without verifying, you can actually tarnish your online image, thereby eliminating or significantly reducing your opportunity for work. Because, of course, if you're going to make an application for a job, your future employee, they're going to check you up. They're going to find out who are you, what are you doing, what is your stance on certain topic and that type of thing. And so they're going to search for you via social media. Scholarship. There are some of us among you who may want to be athletes. And then you may also be online berating a certain brand or, saying certain things. And so you may just miss out on a scholarship that could take you further in your athletic career. And of course, travel. We had mentioned that in the breakout room about travel. Recently, the U.S. Embassy announced that it now requires persons to adjust their privacy settings when they're going for a U.S. visa. This will allow them to review your social media posts before coming to the interview. So that is very serious, but that was being done before. It's just that now that they've recognized that many persons have privated their handles, that they're now saying, hey, you really need to, because on the application before they would ask you for your social media handles. So they've recognized that some persons' platforms are private and they need to know what it is that you're saying about certain topics, right? So you need to be mindful of what you're posting, because it can take opportunities from you that you can use to further yourself in life. It can pull you back rather than push you forward. Unless you're doing advocacy or something of that sort, be mindful of what it is that you're sharing. Now, before sharing, consider using reverse image technology. This can help you to verify the image that you're going to share. And of course, I will always implore for you to check the sources. Check the source that you got the information from. Is this source known to be one of those that share, salacious type information, things that are not so true, but kind of true? Be mindful of it, because you may be sharing it, yes, for the fun and for the joke, but when it comes to a serious matter and it's time for you to be interviewed or for you to be investigated, it may look a little bad on your end. Consider using aliases when you have your social media pages, right? Aliases, or change up your name, change up something about it, right? So that your page is not so easily identified and that your images won't be used without your consent. What many persons don't understand is that, or click yes, or I've read and understood, in our attempt to be part of certain social media platforms, a lot of the fine print will tell you that you're giving these persons access to your images. Now, if your profile or your page is free or open, then you're giving persons outside of your circle access to your videos, to your images that they can use and manipulate and possibly create these type of deepfake videos that you're seeing, right? Consider, of course, making your page private and only limited to the persons that you want to see, unless again, you're online for advocacy or you're an influencer, but even so, you have a personal life that you would need to keep away from the general public.
Hey there.
That would be it for me, in terms of presenting on
Give
that.
me
But
another
if you have,
piece.
sorry,
Thank you. Hold on, there's someone,
someone was saying something.
just a moment. Let's see.
I don't know.
Someone, let's just mute right there, everyone. Okay. All righty. That was Miss.
Oh, sorry.
Miss.
Mrs. Linton, but let me just a last point. I just
Yes.
wanted to point out that in your bid to protect yourself while you are online, there is no one way to do so. It is a mix of your efforts. So use technology to your benefit. Create Google alerts and other types of alerts so that you're able to see how your name or how your images are being used outside of your control. Digital literacy, I'll always champion that because that helps you to know what next to do. So there's no one way to protect yourself per se from that, but you can use a medley of defense to help to protect you online.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much for that. And please join me, everyone, in thanking Mrs. Linton for her presentation. Very, very vital information, very, very critical stuff for us to pay attention to, because this is something that won't be removed. And we thank you for championing the cause and championing on yourself today, as the PowerPoint didn't go with you, but then you still pulled through and gave us very critical information. And that was very informative. The whole matter of Google Alerts. Yes, we need to go back and set up Google Alerts, because we need to know when our name is being mentioned, right? So that if it's being done in a way that is negative, we can do some kind of correction or even just have something positive right there. We appreciate that.
Authorities and let them
The
know
relevant
it's being used.
Absolutely. Continue the work that you're doing at the Broadcasting Commission, and we thank you most kind-heartedly for what you have given us today. It is very vital information. Let me see those emojis up as we congratulate Mrs. Roxanne Anderson Linton from the Broadcasting Commission for her presentation on deepfakes, something we need to pay attention to. This is me, not someone else. We need to look out for those kind of, imagery and know that, okay, yes, this is the way it's happening. There we go. All right. So we're coming now to that point where I know I've been sitting down for a while, and I suspect that the rest of you are probably in a better position to move around, and then you probably want to hear about the other prizes, and let's get down to the nitty-gritty. So I'm with you. If that's where you are, I'm with you too. And I have a couple prizes to just give out before we wrap up things, because it has been a very engaging, very, very engaging session this morning. We have learned so much, and then the fact that people were able to share. When I went into those breakout rooms and heard people actually giving their opinions, I said, yes, wonderful. It was good for Choices to actually put this together. So is there another prize that can be shared? Of course. Let us go. I actually have a few more. So I don't want to go past 12:15. So I'm putting my voice on speed, right? So bear with me as I run through this segment. We had hoped to wrap up at 12, but no, it's 12:05, so another 10 minutes and we give it a go. So there's a prize I want to give, and right after I give that prize, what's going to happen? Persons needed to share from their different groups. So instead of the 3 points, I need to hear at least 1 point, okay? Great. So just be on guard so that as soon as I call your room name, you will just share and then indicate, and bam, we move on to the next. And that's only for a minute. Okay. So here we are. The next question, and get ready to type this very, 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 very easy answer for me. And this, again, the first person who puts that in, and this one is for those folks that are in the vicinity of Dolphin Cove in Jamaica, so that once you're from Jamaica, you'll answer this. We have another prize for those outside of Jamaica. So here, let's go with that. So another set of tickets for Dolphin Cove. Here we go. Which platform is known for disappearing messages and stories? Which platform is known for disappearing messages and stories? So very quickly indicate, and once I've seen something that is showing the correct answer, then I am going to say the correct answer is Snapchat. So then, Miss Jamie Lee Wisdom, can you indicate who within Jamaica is going to get these tickets for 2 Dolphin Cove Encounter program, where you get to swim with the dolphins? One of the best things you can do in Jamaica. I absolutely agree. And it's a perfect place to enjoy this lovely experience. Swimming with the dolphins. Who is that lucky winner?
Keisha Gay Days.
Keisha, Dave, and where are you representing from? Keisha Day, you have been told you are the winner. Where are you representing from? Portmore? Jacqueline has a very critical point there. Which institution in Portmore? Waterford Primary. So there we are. From Waterford Primary, you're going to send a text message so that we'll be able to connect with your parents and have it done. Or if you're a teacher, forgive me. Alrighty, so there, congratulations to you. Congratulations, there you have it. There was a question, how can we tell when people are overstressed? And maybe this is a point where the responses from the breakout rooms might be able to help to address that. So may I call on the first person from the room number 1 with Mr. Campbell? Has that representative been confirmed? Kenisha Morgan is asking for second place winners. There's another prize.
Yeah.
No? Yes, go ahead. Is that Miss Mayor who was about to tell 1 instead of 3 items?
No, it's Mrs. Linton. I'm trying to redeem my technology issues.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
All right, so
but you were in the breakout room. Go ahead.
yes, I was
Yes.
in that breakout room.
Yes.
We had highlighted the fact that sometimes persons go down through rabbit holes. So they started watching one video and they go on and on and on in a bid to get rid of stress and put it behind. So it is an indicator that someone is not, happy enough. And so they decide, hey, just as how someone would take a drink or a smoke, let me use social media to get rid of the stress I'm going through.
Okay. So then they would have to think of how to not spend as much time on social media as they use that.
That's what it is. So that's an indicator, because you'd ask what's an indicator to show that we're stressed. So that's an indicator when some persons overuse social media as their cushion, for want of a better word, as their cushion to deal with whatever it is that's happening for them, as an escape from the realities that are around them.
And that's where the Guidance Counselor Association, maybe then that's where the support may be needed as to how to liaise with them to see how best we can identify those issues among our students, especially so that we can give them the support going forward. Thank you so very much, Ms. Linton. Really appreciate that. Is there anyone from room number 2 that's there with 1 point? Room number 2?
We had a volunteer from a student from Chapelton Primary to give our report out. So I really appreciate it to them. They can go ahead.
Go ahead, student from Chapelton Primary.
Or representative from, I assume student, but I didn't confirm that.
Or representative. Okay, Kemisha Morgan, and she's muted. Let's unmute you. Go ahead now.
Hello, good morning.
Good afternoon.
Apologies.
No worries.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My, my name is Michaela Macri.
And my name is Isaac Williams.
Today we will be telling you what we learned in our breakout session. Today we learned about professional profile. When creating a professional profile, you need to have a simple username and a simple profile picture and be mindful of the background.
Think about what you are good at and what you enjoy.
My heart just warmed right there.
Mine too.
Let's give some love to the students of Chapelton Primary School. And please look at that. You are getting that. That's wonderful. I cannot then take this prize that I have for this is a prize for students, right? This one is let's see. That was 2 names I got. Michaela and who? Michaela and who?
Isaac Williams.
Isaac. So for it to be shared evenly, you see, because for it to be shared evenly, we're going to give some phone credits for you for just answering that. That was answering that call and taking that opportunity. So we are going to send that out to both of you. Please just send us direct message to Jamie Lee Wisdom. It says choices, Jamie Lee Wisdom, or have your teacher do that, because that was well done. And it's good that you were able to present like that and to share and to listen and to make your own notes, and whatever is happening over by Chapelton Primary, continue to do the good stuff. Very good. School is on holiday, but you were able to get those kids in. Wonderful and totally awesome. Thank you, Dr. Trudy, as well, as you were there and they listened. Very well done. Very well done. So those 2 prizes are going, that phone credit will be divided between both of you. That's $1,000 phone credit divided between those 2 students at Chapelton. Okay, and I'm getting closer to my time. I still have, I didn't give the Dolphin Cove because they would, it will get more complicated right there. So I'm now going to give another Dolphin Cove Award. And this Dolphin Cove Award is going to go to the fastest typer one more time. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. And the question is, well, you know what? I might get varied answers to that, and I'm not going to ask it. So here is the question coming up. Here we go. Here we go. Ta-da. Moving through to just make sure that I'm giving you the right question for the quick and easy answer. And it is, okay. Now it's my turn. It's coming up. Here we go. Listen carefully. So there's A, B, C, and D. Okay, so you have to write whether it's not just A, B, or C, or D, but you have to write what is said. Okay, so listen carefully. So don't write your answer, write multiple choice. A, whatever I said, B, whatever. Let's go. What does the hashtag with the number sign symbol do on social media? Is it A, makes the text bold, B, tags a person, C, connects posts to a topic or trend, D, starts a group chat? Repeating it. A, makes the text bold, B, tags a person, C, connects posts to a topic or trend, D, starts a group chat. That's the answer for what does the hashtag number sign symbol do on social media. Let's see who is getting that. Let's see who is that lucky winner of the Dolphin Cove Encounter program. Swimming with the dolphins, lovely experience. One of the best things to do in Jamaica, Dolphin Cove, right there on the north coast. We don't want any partial answers, we want complete answers. Do we have someone there, Jamie Lee, connects with a S, post to a topic or trend? Do we have a winner? I hope we do.
That would be
And
C, right?
until you determine that winner, let's move to the Caribbean. So no one in Jamaica should be answering this question.
So did we establish a winner yet?
I'm waiting on you to give me a winner. I'm just going out to the Caribbean in the interim. Have you?
Would be the first person that said C. Would
Pardon?
be the first person that said C would be Kaylee Chin.
Not just the letter C, but should have written out.
Connects, yes, she said connects a person to a topic.
Okay, and that person is?
Kaylee Chin. Excuse me if I mispronounced.
Kaylin Chin.
Kaylee.
Kayleen. Congratulations, Kayleen. Where are you representing? Woohoo, Kaylee, where are you representing? What's your institution? Congratulations to you. Alrighty, so there's one more big prize coming up at AISC. Thank you so very much, Kayleen. That's the AISK. Very good. Wonderful. Okay, so moving on to a prize to the Caribbean. So that means if you're in Jamaica, please do not respond to this. Actually, we're trying to get through to a student. You know, this one is for a student. We'd like to give a student in the Caribbean, outside of Jamaica, that is, some phone credit. So that student, once you're outside, here is your opportunity to answer. Okay? Ready? Just write your answer. Once you're a student on the platform, here we go. What does FYP stand for on TikTok? What does FYP stand for on TikTok? And the answer we are expecting to see from a student outside of the Caribbean, the first one outside of Jamaica, Jamaica's in the Caribbean, outside of Jamaica, the answer we're expecting is for your page. Let's see. There we go. Do we have someone?
For you page, first person to comment, that is.
It's for your page.
For your page.
For your page.
Who is that?
Okay, so for your page is Liana Philip, Liana J.N. Philip.
Liana, can you indicate your school, please? RC Boys School. Which island is that? St. Lucia, on the island of St. Lucia, reaching out to all the folks in St. Lucia and greetings right across the Caribbean. Well done, well done. And I still have another one. Good, yes. Let us see the affections. Pardon? Please directly indicate to Jamie Lee. We still have one more for the Caribbean region outside of Jamaica. And this one is, get ready. This one is right here for you. And the question goes like this. Very simple. Now you would have to answer according to A, B, or C. Okay? A, B, or C. Or D, sorry. Which social media site was originally, and remember, if you're in Jamaica, do not answer this. If you're in Jamaica, do not answer this. If you're in Jamaica, do not answer this. Okay. Which social media site was originally launched for college students only? A, MySpace, B, Twitter, C, Facebook, or D, Reddit? Come on, and if you first person to answer from outside of Jamaica, you are receiving a $20 Amazon gift card. Who is that individual? Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Come on. We have a winner somewhere. The answer for that is actually Facebook. So let's see who is the winner. Facebook. Who is the winner, Jamie Lee? For a $20 Amazon gift card. And while we determine the winner, we just want to say many thanks to the partners today. We want to say thanks to Choices for putting this all together, for our presenters who took the time out to gather information and to share with us in the manner in which they have shared this morning. Yes, Miss Wisdom, do we have a winner?
Facebook, Beverly John Morgan is the first person who have come to
Mr. John Morgan, where are you representing from? You are the winner. Congrats. Mr. Morgan, let us know. Let us know where you're representing. Let's see those congratulations, Mr. John Morgan. John Morgan, where are you? Akel John? Oh, Turks and Caicos? That's where he is? That says Kamara Turks. Thank you. Who is it? Okay, you know her. All righty, so that's from Turks and Caicos. Please directly contact Jamie Lee. Directly contact Jamie Lee. There you go, so that we can get it. And then the final one, the final prize, just before the vote of, after the vote of thanks, I'll be giving that one out. So here we are. I know it's been a long morning, but you stuck through it and it was very informative. Sorry for those persons who got disconnected along the way, but yes, we have been sitting for a while and we have things to do and we want to have a recollection, you know. I know room 1, room 2, was there anyone from room 3 who didn't get the chance to speak and wanted to speak for 30 seconds?
Yes, we're gonna have Joyce speak on our behalf.
All righty, go right ahead.
Okay, so in our room 3, we discussed setting healthy social media boundaries for kids. We had 4 major points, but one of the new ones that came out was the use of digital or social media agreements. Now, in this agreement is between the adults and students, where you list and identify things that they can and cannot do on social media, as well as the adult, the use of your monitoring tools that you would use to identify safe as well as unsafe practices for them online. Alongside that, we came up with the major consideration that the importance of cultivating trusting relationships and open communication with children from an early age is important. This foundational approach ensures that boundaries are not just enforced, but understood as well as respected.
Amazing. Can we just give some emojis for that young man? What school are you? What school do you represent again? Young Miss. Oh, take that back. Thank you for the clarification. What school do you represent?
My name is Joette O'Brien. I'm a cluster guidance counselor at Pleasant Valley Primary and Infant School in Clarendon.
In Clarendon, a cluster guidance counselor. Thank you so much. That was hearty. We really and truly appreciate that. And that's somebody listening and presenting accordingly. Thank you very much. Yes, the recording will be sent to you for those persons who are keen. Was there any other person who missed the opportunity to speak? Here is your chance to speak now or never. Yes, this definitely needs another session, and you will get the chance to give your feedback at the end of it. So remember, I'm going on my fast track to just, take it over to 12:30 now. It has moved. Definitely needs another session, but let us give thanks to the start of this program. We had enthusiastic people coming along. We had people who just wanted to be a part of it, and we are forever and truly grateful. Mr. Leighton Campbell, our general manager, Mrs. Angela de Freitas, Mr. Campbell, you led us through prayer, and you asked for the guidance, and we got it going right through, and we thank you for that. Dr. Trudy Thomas from the University of New York, you were there sharing insights into the thoughts that are associated with just being in a good mental health state. And we appreciate that. We then had Dr. Hilary Hicklin, who were looking at resilience, the questions that keep popping up. We need to decide where we're going, what direction we're going to go with this, and how is it we're going to manage it on the platform. There in itself, you created something for us to think about. Then we moved on to the persons who are in, or Miss Anna Dawkins Johnson from the Office of the Children's Advocate, Safe Spot, talking, what can we do? How can we identify it? And if something happens, what do you do next? And we have learned more about those safe spots. Dr. Trudy Thomas Smith, again, you were there still using social media responsibly and professionally, and you gave us valid tips. Online stress, Mr. Campbell, you came back with us with your fellow counselors, and you gave those tips because you guys know best, and the challenge remains with you. And as you mentioned in the beginning, let us see how we can implement further down the line. Deep fakes, understanding that not everything that we see is true. You gave it to us. We were able to vividly, Mrs. Linton, Anderson Linton from the Broadcasting Commission, you were able to actually help us to vividly imagine what it's like when we don't see what is purposeful, when we don't see the truth, and we have to be able to dig into the truth and actually be able to understand how we can safeguard ourselves and protect ourselves, as our digital footprint is very important. Everyone who has been here from all the schools, all the institutions, every person who participated, you created a chat, you gave a comment, you reacted, you won a prize. You listened, even if you weren't sitting in front of the screen the whole time like myself. You were there listening, moving around, and then you came back. You showed up for this students' mental health and social media seminar, and you participated, and we're grateful for that. Choices would like to thank you. The Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission for being on board. Barita Foundation, we know where to go. Now the children need to know more readily about the Office of the Children's Advocate, so that this is not just something they hear on TV. They must have this number on speed dial. You have been very supportive. The last giveaway that I have for the day is a nice one, and that's what I'm going to close you out with. It's a Reloaded for 2 Mystic Mountain Pass. And this Reloaded for 2 Mystic Mountain Pass will go to the person who will answer firstly for the prize. Here we are. And the answer that we are looking for, should it be a tough one? No, you have waited long enough for it to get down to this point. Ready? The answer is, what is going viral? Do not answer anything yet. And this one is open to the Jamaicans, by the way, because Mystic Mountain is in Ocho Rio St. Anne. And we know we'll come here at some other point, but we don't want to take the aircraft, right? Just now, what is going viral? A, getting hacked. B, spreading quickly to many people. C, posting a health update. D, sending spam messages. First person to type that, you will get a quintuple the excitement with 5 incredible tours at Mystic Mountain, soar above Ocho Rios on the Sky Explorer, conquer heights with rock climbing, enjoy unlimited rides on the iconic bobsleigh and ragamuffin, and an exhilarating quintet of unforgettable adventures awaits you. Now, for anybody who didn't hear before, I'm not repeating. The answer for what is going viral is B, spreading quickly to many people.
B, spreading quickly to many people. It seems like Keisha Days was won a prize before. She was the first person to comment.
Spreading quickly, who's that?
B, spreading quickly to many people. Keisha Days.
Keisha Gay Days. I forgot to mention Keisha Gay. That's on me now. That once a winner, you have won for the day. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that one before. Yes, oh no, because you won the first one. I'm so sorry. That's on me. Next time you see me, you can be like, Sona, no. Forgive me, okay? Forgive me. But well done. Who is the second? Who is the second person after Keisha Gay?
Second person is Trudy Ann Fife. Excuse me for the mispronunciation. If it's
Trudy Ann.
That's
Trudy Ann Fife.
Yeah, I think so. F-Y-F.
Trudy Ann. Sorry, Keisha Gay. Sorry. Trudy Ann, where are you being represented? Where you? Who are? Oh, I need some water. That's what's happening now. Trudy Ann, what's your institution? Thank you so much. Trudy Ann, you're from Herman Primary School in St. Catherine. Congratulations. Thank you for coming in. And I hope you have a great time at Mystic Mountain. And for those of you who are going to Dolphin Cove, have a wonderful time. Those of you who are going to have your extra credits, that's always needed. And for the Amazon gift card, buy yourself something special. On behalf of the entire team here at Choices, we thank you for coming out, and always remember that when it comes on to mental health, this is for us to focus and do the right thing. I've been your program host, Sona Mirage. Thank you for listening and thank you for caring. Over and out. You take care and enjoy your lunch, whatever it is you're going to have.
Please contact me, direct message before you leave. For those who haven't contacted me, just need some contact information if you want a prize. Primary school, 2 students I think would have won that prize. I think I missed that contact, and also one for Liana Philip.
Okay, prize winners, if you don't make contact, then we can't send the prizes to you. So then we may have to go back through the chat and find a second place winner. So please directly do not log off. If it's a case that you can't directly WhatsApp her, then you can stay online and then we'll give you the chance to give us your information. Thanks again, everyone. Enjoy your lunch. Be careful what you post. It's been wonderful. You should be having an exit poll as you click leave, and then you can give us your feedback. The information will be available, or the actual presentation will be available for you to view again. Thank you so much for being here. Shout out to Nelisha Ann Powell over there in the chat. Students from Chapelton, Kimisha Morgan, Keisha G. Thanks for being here. You're welcome, Keisha Gay Days.
For the Randolph Lopez School of Hope, the special needs school, and don't hear that name, Paul.
Randolph Lopez School of Hope, special needs. Thank you for being represented here. Thank you. If there's any name I missed, put them in the chat. That's what I was trying to recall. ASKIS for American International School of Kingston. I was about to start with the American. I said, I don't remember the other part. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. The Office of the Children's Advocate. Very informative. St. George's College was here. Good. Wonderful. So we're all going into that. Say, what are we going to do? How are we going to improve this for our students? Liana J. and Philip, okay, your information, not sure yet, do not log off. Roswell Primary, thank you for being here. Arden, a parent from Jamaica College, good to have you. Dermia Brown. Is that a school name? Wafif GTA. The video will be shared. Okay, which country is that? Thank you for representing. Jose Marti Technical High. Of course. Meadowbrook was here. Great. So Kaylee, do not log off as yet. Want to make sure that you have CJ from Meadowbrook High, that we have your information. Global Thinkers Academy Jamaica. Wonderful. First I'm hearing that name. WAFIF, Global Thinkers Academy Jamaica. Lovely. This is something, Global Thinkers. Way to go. Thank you for spending the morning into the afternoon with us. Barita Foundation was able to help. Office of the Children's Advocate, Choices, Safe Spot, the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission, Heart Trust, NSTA, definitely here. Oh, I'm the host with Global Thinkers. I wouldn't have been involved in the registration, so that's why it's the first I'm hearing the name. But it's good, because I'm going to definitely check you out online. So thank you so much for sharing. SAHS, SA High School. Where's that?
St. Andrew High School, I believe.
Oh, St. Andrew High School, more likely. Definitely, of course. St. Andrew High.
Very good. Thank you all for being here. Kanisha Grenada, I see too.
Kanisha Grenada, yes. Kenilworth campus in Sandy Bay, Hanover, to be specific, for Heart Trust. Got that, Miss Johnson. Definitely. Thank you, Kaylee. We appreciate that. Marvin Moulton from Mergrove. Great. The recordings. It'll be sent back to the emails registered, definitely. "56 persons online. Best online forum you've ever attended. Well done. Thank you so much, Khalil Chen. Jamie, have you received all the direct contacts? Is there anyone still outstanding?
I'm not sure about who to contact on behalf of the Chapelton primary.
Okay, so we know Michaela, Michaela and Isaac were the names of the students. Is there anyone here? Yes, the recordings will be available. Is there anyone here who is from Chapeltown Primary? We had two students, Michaela and Isaac,
Present,
presented.
please.
Okay, now, do you know? Okay, let me look for your name and I'm going to send you a message. The person who said present, miss, is it Michaela or is it Isaac?
It's Kamisha.
Kamisha, you.
Pardon?
They're using teachers. Kamisha Morgan.
Okay, so Kemisha, we're going to send you a message. There's in terms of a certificate, just a moment. Let me just go over to Kemisha. And that's K-E or K-I?
K-E.
I think it's K-E.
Okay, I'm seeing Kemisha Morgan there now. Okay, so I'm gonna send you a message. Are you seeing that? Can you please provide?
Yes, please. We are seeing it.
Please provide a phone number. That private message that I'm sending. Please respond where it says, please provide a phone number and type your full name. We're just trying to get we're going to close the meeting shortly. But I need to get the information. Are you seeing the message? All righty. Yes.
I'm seeing it. Also, I have Mrs. Pauline Allison Smith, our guidance counselor, here with us.
Mrs. Pauline Anderson Smith?
Allison Smith, I'm going to write her name in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. So we're going to send the info for the 6, 3. All righty. Thank you so much. So we have the contact and the names of the students. Can you just type those names?
Kelly Chin, I received your information. I thought I responded.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All righty. There we go. All right. So this is where we're going to now exit. Whatever you're doing, have a wonderful afternoon. The door will be closed on us shortly. In less than 60 seconds. Got it.
I'm going to end the live
And Isaac. Okay.
in the live stream.
Williams.
Okay. It's all right. It's okay. So
Bye, bye, bye.
Thank you. Blessings.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.